Good morning. Good morning, guys. Am I clear to Ajis, Priyadarshini? Am I loud and clear?
Yes, sir.
Sir,
Let me check my audio settings. Audio settings is full. Yeah. So we'll begin the discussion. See, today there is a wide variety of topics which is given to me, and we have a limited time to discuss. We'll pick some questions and we'll discuss that. Primarily, we'll focus on M&A, mergers and acquisitions. We are going by the RTP questions. Let's look at this question first. It's a fairly simple question to find out the valuation of the company. Sun Limited recently made a profit of 200 crores and paid 80 crores, slightly higher than the average paid in the industry to which it pertains. The average PE ratio is 9. The beta of Sun Limited is 1.2. As per balance sheet of Sun Limited, the shareholders fund is 450 crores. Number of shares is 10 crore shares. In case the company is liquidated, the building would fetch 200 crores more than the book value. Stock would fetch 50 crores less. Some various informations are given. What is the question? Other data for the industry is as follows. Projected dividend growth is 4%. Risk-free return is 6%. Market return is 11%. Market return, and what does it mean? Market return refers to anyone. Priyadarshini, Ajis. Market return refers to market rate of return. Can someone help me out? How do you calculate beta? Beta calculations. What is the formula for calculating beta?
Priyadarshini, Imran, just unmute and please talk on it.
Are you guys on mute or should I need to unmute? Like, are you done with these concepts of beta to both Priyadarshini and Ajis? Are you aware of this concept of beta? Because
Yes, sir.
can you help me out on this? Beta is beta basically refers to what, or rather we'll say CAPM. CAPM what is the return that is expected?
RF plus
CAPM return is RF plus
RM minus RF.
time RM minus RF. This RM refers to what?
Market return.
Market return. That's what we are talking about, right? Yeah. Calculate the value of this unlimited using PE ratio, dividend growth model, book value, net realizable value. What is the formula for PE ratio?
EPS upon MPS.
MPS upon EPS.
MPS upon EPS.
What does it represent actually? When I say PE ratio, what does it represent? When I say PE ratio is in the sum, what is the PE ratio?
9.
9. That 9 represents what? 9 percentage or 9 rupees are what? 9, what is the unit of measurement?
9 times.
9 times. When you say 9 times, what you are referring to here? What is 9 times of what?
Its earning is 9 times market.
What is 9 times of what? Your market price is 9 times, correct? Your market price is 9 times capitalized to that of earnings, correct?
Yes.
There is one more interpretation. For example, if your market price is 900, if your earnings per share is 100, your EPS is 9, correct?
Yeah.
Look at it the other way. This is your MPS. MPS is what you invest now, correct?
Yes.
And EPS is what you earn every year. So if you are investing 900 now, how many years will it take for you to get back your principal? 9 years.
9 years, sir.
So there is another interpretation for P ratio. Is P ratio also talks about the life or the payback period. How many years it will take for you to get back your money? That is another interpretation of P ratio, right? Coming back to our discussion, we need to calculate the value of the company using P ratio. Value of the company using P ratio. P ratio is given as 9, which is equivalent to MPS by EPS. What is the relevant information available here? Is EPS available?
Yes, sir.
That is it.
18 minutes.
Earnings எவ்வளோ? What is the earnings of this company?
45 crores, sir. 44 crores.
எப்படி, how do you get that?
450 crores divided by number.
450 crores is shareholder fund இல்லையா?
Sir.
Earnings, profit சொல்லுங்க. What is the profit for the year?
200 crores, sir.
200 crores.
Yes, sir.
So 200 crores, how many shares are there?
10 crores, sir.
10 crore shares are there. So what is the EPS?
20, sir.
20. EPS is 20. Correct? Appa, what should be MPS naturally? MPS is 20 into 9. Correct?
Yes, sir. 180.
180. MPS is 20 into 9, 180. Since we know what is the market price, what is the value of the company in Keta? What will you say? Value of the company is equal to market capitalization, that is market price into number of shares. Correct? What is market price? 180 into how many shares are there? 10 crore shares are there. So 1800 crores. Correct? This is the value of the company based on P ratio. So yeah. Next value of the company based on what? Dividend growth model. சொல்லுங்க. Market price per share is equivalent to சொல்லுங்க growth model. What is the formula for Gordon's growth model? Market prices
D naught bracket 1 plus G divided by K minus G.
D naught bracket 1 plus G. D naught into 1 plus G. Now what are we referring to?
It's a dividend, sir.
Dividend when?
Dividend current year dividend plus growth, sir.
So my question is the D naught into 1 plus G in the numerator. Are we talking about dividend now or are we talking about dividend 1 year from now?
Dividend now, sir.
Appa, why would you?
be paid
Dividend will be paid when? Today or 1 year from now?
by the year end from this year.
From the upcoming year's profit, what you will be paying at the end of the first year, correct? Can I say this is D1?
Sir.
Yes.
Yes, sir.
D1 by K minus C, correct? Where D1 is equivalent to D naught into 1 plus G. G G refers to
Growth, sir.
growth of what? Growth of earnings or growth of dividend or both are same?
Sir, one second.
G refers to the growth of what? Dividend or earnings? Earnings lenda you pay dividend, correct?
Yes, sir.
So G is the rate at which earnings will grow. G is the rate at which dividend will grow. Or both means the same.
Earning growth.
G is the rate at which earnings will grow. அது ஏன் டிவிடெண்டுக்கு அப்ளை பண்றோம்?
Simultaneously the dividend will also grow.
Simultaneously the dividend will also grow. அப்படியே you need not necessarily know. Why would you say earnings growth is equivalent to dividend growth? I'll ask you a question. Look at this. Earnings last year, this year. Earnings எவ்வளோ? 100. This has become 150. Dividend வந்து 50. That has become 75. So now tell me what is the growth in earnings? Growth in earnings is 50, correct? Growth in dividend is 25, correct? What is the percentage of growth? 50 divided by 100. 50%. Yeah. Earnings is growing at the rate of 50%. Dividend is growing at the rate of 25 upon 50. 50%. Correct?
Yes, sir.
The rate at which earnings is growing and the rate at which dividend is growing are the same,
Same.
provided your payout ratio is constant. Payout ratio. First year, what is the payout ratio? 100 earn panna 50% you are paying. Correct? Second year, 150 earn panna how much you are paying?
75. 50 pay.
So if I say that second year your payout ratio is 10%, you don't want to pay the entire amount as dividend, you want to pay only 15. If now tell me earnings is growing, dividend is growing, dividend is reducing. What do we conclude here? G refers to rate at which what will grow. Can you understand what I'm saying? Am I clear on what I'm saying, guys?
Yes, sir.
So G normally, understand this factor, I'm clarifying. G normally refers to rate at which earnings will grow. Earnings ude growth ku per than G ni per. Dividend ude growth ku we don't normally say G. G is a term associated with the rate at which earnings will grow. But in the formula, we are using D naught into 1 plus G because we take one underlying assumption. The rate at which earnings will grow will be equivalent to the rate at which dividend will grow. Puriyarudha?
Okay.
That is because one underlying assumption. Why? What is the further underlying assumption? Because in every year, there is one thing which is constant. What? The rate at which earnings will grow will be equivalent to the rate at which dividend will grow, provided what? Provided one condition to be satisfied. Appada, both that will be 50%, 50%. What? Provided what here? Payout ratio is constant, correct? Provided payout ratio is constant every year, right? In our example, what is the payout ratio? The example that we just now discussed. What is the payout ratio in the first year? What is the payout ratio in the second year?
50%, 10%.
If the payout ratio changes, then this equation will not hold true. Puriyarudha?
Yes, sir.
So you cannot do D naught into 1 plus G in bottom. Then what you have to do, from D naught, you need to estimate what is D1. Sorry, what is E naught? What is the earnings today? From E naught, you need to do E naught into 1 plus G. You need to calculate E1. சொல்றது புரியுதா? E naught into 1 plus G. E1 calculate. From E1, you have to apply the payout ratio to calculate the D1. The route தான் follow பண்ணும். ஏன்னா G is a term associated with earnings, not with dividend. This D1 has to be used in the formula. புரியுதா? So that is why we carefully say MPS is equivalent to D1 by KE minus G சொல்லிட்டு நிறுத்திடுவோம். And the D1, how do you estimate? If the payout ratio is same, then you can simply use that growth rate of earnings. D naught into 1 plus G சொல்லிடுவோம். If payout ratio keeps differing, then you have to do the indirect route. சரியா? Are we clear up to this?
Yes, sir.
Back to market price. இப்ப சொல்லுங்க. How do I find D1? Is there a D naught given? What is the dividend paid?
50 crore.
Enama?
80 crore.
80 crore. How many shares?
10 crore shares.
10 crore.
So dividend per share is?
8.
That is the dividend that is already paid, or that is the dividend that is going to be paid next year?
8.
So that's a D naught, correct?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Apro, is there any other information? Dividend growth enna kuduthirukku?
4%.
4%.
So D1 is easy, right? 8 into 1.04, correct? So we'll say D1 is equivalent to 8 into 1. How much you get?
8.32.
8.32. So இது வந்துருது. KE we need to find out. G is, what is G? That is G is given, no? How much percentage is that?
4%.
கொடுத்துட்டோம். All that we need to find out is KE. How do I find out KE? CAPM முடிஞ்சு போச்சு. RF is how much?
6%.
6%. RM is how much?
11%.
Beta only தான் பாக்கி. Is beta given?
1.2, sir.
So can we calculate that?
Yes, sir.
எவ்வளவு சொல்லுங்க? 6 plus 1.2 into correct?
Yes, sir.
11 minus 6 தானே? 11ங்கிறது market return market premium risk premium.
Market return, sir.
So 11, it's not RM minus RF, it is RM itself, correct? You have observed, no, in some problems they will give you RM, in some problems they will give you risk premium. You understand what I'm saying?
Yes,
so
sir.
you need not do 11 minus 6, that full number has to be entered. So how much you get a KE?
12, sir.
12, so that's 12%, and growth is 4%. Just find out the market price, no, D1 8.32 divided by 12% minus 4%. How much you get then? 104. 104, correct?
Yes, sir.
So what is the total value of the company? Value of the company, 10 crore shares, no?
Yes, sir.
104 into 10 crore shares, which is 1040 crores, correct? Okay, I want you to just explain me a little bit. I'm testing your understanding. What is this G? KE minus G ன்னு சொல்றோமே. This G refers to what?
Company growth, sir.
Company growth.
Market growth, I think, sir.
Market
equity. It's equity only, no? K means equity. So cost of equity growth. So you want to
In the 4% in the question கொடுத்திருக்கு. What is this?
dividend growth.
My question, what you find in the numerator G, what you find in the denominator G, same or different?
Same, sir.
That refers to what? G refers to what? Simple example. G refers to growth. Growth of what?
Dividend, sir.
Growth of dividend. Correct? But what do you find in numerator? What do you find in denominator? There is a difference. Any issue on the? Can anyone add some points? G numerator denominator la irukra G la there is a difference. Listen this carefully. Here, dividend. Assume that a company gives you dividend for. You can see my screen, right? $200 here. Company gives you dividend of 10 rupees every year. 200 years, they are giving you dividend of 10. What is your cost of capital? Let's say cost of capital is 8%. So discounting factor will be 8%, correct?
Yes, sir.
For 200 years, I am discounting the cash flows. What is the discounted cash flow that I get? You can follow the screen, right?
Yes, sir.
Total boldama. What is the total that you get? Total that I get is 125. So what is the value of my share? My value of share is present value of future cash flows. This is my future cash flow. I am discounting it. Present value 125 வருது. Correct?
Yes, sir.
How can I indirectly get this 125? 10 rupees divided by 8%. புரியுதா? Straight 10 is the dividend divided by D by KE. அதானே? 10 divided by 8%, you get 125. இது ஈஸியா வந்துரும். Instead of doing this whole, this is what we know. Yeah, but what do we know in finance? If we have cash flows, we'll have to discount it. We'll get the present value. Correct? So we have cash flows from this share, discounted, you get the present value 125. Are we clear about this example first?
Yes, sir.
So this is constant dividend model. In a constant dividend model, value of the share constant ஒரே dividend வந்தா, the dividend divided by KE is adequate to find out the value per share. Value per share na the benefit, the money that you are ready to pay for that share. How much you are ready to pay for that share? It's equivalent to the benefit that you will get from that share. Benefit that you will get from that share is the dividend discounted to the present value. Clear? Hello, guys, clear?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Right. Now I am changing it a little bit. This dividend is not 10. This dividend 10 in irukku. This dividend will grow every year at the rate of 5%. If first year dividend 10 next year dividend will be how much? Into 1.05. 10.5. So what is the growth? The dividend will not be the same. It will keep growing at the rate of this into 1.05. And next year, third year dividend will be that into 1.05. Are you following this?
Yes, sir.
So I am applying this 5% growth throughout. So 200 years, this is the dividend that I am getting. And every year I am discounting it at the same 8%. Discounted cash flow is this, and my value is 332.14. This is cross check. When there is a growth, then what will you say? MPS is equivalent to D1 10 by KE 8% minus G 5%. So it is 10 divided by 3%, correct?
Yes,
that is what you get, 333.33. Approximation error. If you go for another 200 years, you will exactly get 333.33. Can you follow this?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
In that, what is the growth that we said? What is the growth percentage that we said?
5%.
5% is the rate at which what will grow? Dividend will grow from time 0 to time 1, time 1 to infinity. See, last year, I'll put it this way. Time 0, today, you received a dividend of rupees 8. Today, you received a dividend of rupees 8. 1 year from now, how much dividend you will receive? 10 rupees you will receive. How much is the increase? 2 rupees the increase. What percentage is the growth in dividend? Growth in dividend is 25%. Correct? 2 rupees dividend has grown. In the formula I use how do you calculate it? You will say D1 by KE minus G. How do you calculate D1? 8 plus 25% of 8 divided by KE 8% minus, what is the G here?
5%.
Can you tell me what is the conceptual difference between this 25% and 5%? Both are growth only. 25% refers to what growth? 5% refers to what growth?
25% refers to dividend growth.
5% refers to? Dividend growth. That 25% is from what year to what year?
0 to 1, sir.
That 5% is?
From 1 to infinity, sir.
Now you understand the difference between what is there in the top numerator and denominator. Can you follow this?
Yes, sir.
So that's what we have. In this question, there is no difference. You don't get any, you say G, 4%. We are assuming that 0 to 1 G is the same as 1 to infinity G. We are using the same in the numerator and denominator also. Are you following this?
Sir.
This is the value of company. Then book value. Book value, is there a book value given? Option 3 is based on book value. Solomon? Net assets given. What is the book value of net assets? Or net assets, what is net assets? Define it. Net assets refers to? Hello. Net assets refers to? Oops. Sorry. Net assets refers to assets minus liabilities, right? Net assets can also be understood as shareholders' funds, isn't it? Either it is total assets minus external liability, or it can be shareholder funds. The shareholder funds given?
450 crores.
That is the value of the company. Book value, shareholders' funds. 450 crores. This is at book value terms. Option 4, NRV. Calculate the value of company using net realizable value. Net realizable value, now what is it, at book value terms or fair value terms?
Fair value terms.
Is there any fair value given?
Yes. So the
So
200 crores more than book value.
200 crores more than the book value.
Yes.
Book value is 450 crores. Upper fair value 650 crores, correct? And stock will realize 50 crores less.
Yes.
So up minus 50, correct? Fair value is equivalent to 450 crores plus 200 crores minus 50 crores, correct?
Yes, sir.
650 minus 600 crores. புரிஞ்சுதாப்பா?
Yes, sir.
அவ்வளவுதான். This completes the problem. Are we clear with this question and solution?
Yes, sir.
See, my idea is not to cover a lot of questions. My idea is whatever small or 1 or 2 areas that we take, we go in depth and then we explore each and every area of the formula so that we get a better clarity. Take this question, question 3. Sorry?
No, sir.
Just give me 1 minute. My Excel is creating some difficulty. I'll close it and reopen it. We'll see question 3. Who else has joined? Aparna Bose, good morning. Aparna Bose is there, not there?
Yes, sir. Sir, good morning, sir.
Good morning, good morning.
Good morning, sir.
Question 3. So let's see the question. Okay, before discussing this question, a little bit of M&A talks. Synergy. Synergy na solunga. What is synergy? Guys, synergy here. What is synergy? Any heads up? What do you understand by the term synergy? Anyone? Priyadarshini, Aparna, Jeesh. Do you have any idea or can I explain?
Sir, explain, sir.
Okay. See, when companies amalgamate or when companies merge, what is the benefit that they get? For example, A Limited, its worth is 500 crores. B Limited, its worth is 300 crores. Let's say this is their not worth, this is their sales. Sales is 500 crore, B Limited sales is 300 crore. Total AB Limited sales will be how much? Yes. Once they amalgamate,
800 crores.
obviously 800 crores. But sometimes what will happen, together they will have a better visibility. Together they will have a better marketing advantage and they will make even more than that. You understand what I'm trying to say? What they were doing independently is different from what they can do together. 3-4 years back, what Facebook acquired WhatsApp, correct? Facebook acquired WhatsApp. So what is the revenue potential of Facebook is different. What is the revenue potential of WhatsApp is different. When they merge, there is a concept called as cross-selling. What is cross-selling? I can sell to your customers also my product. You can sell to my customers also your product. So it is not like I am selling to my customers, you are selling to your customers. We together, we sell it to our respective customers. There is a concept of cross-selling that is happening. When there is a cross-selling, there is a higher revenue which is possible. Can you understand this first?
Yes, sir.
Because of this, the value of the combined entity will be much more than the value of the independent entities. Let's say valuation. The value of A Limited could be 500 crores. The value of B Limited could be 300 crores. Upon amalgamation, the value of the combined entity is going to be 900 crores. இது எப்படி 900 வந்தது? How much extra value that you are generating because of working together? Extra value that is getting generated is
Synergy.
synergy. I'll give you an example. There is one merger which we worked on. The situation is like this. There is a company here which is a distribution company. There is another company which is a manufacturing company. Manufacturing company is in Coimbatore. Distribution company is in Chennai. This is a real life case. In a manufacturing company, they were manufacturing different products. Gloves, you see that masks, no, the COVID masks and all the other things, respiratory products. They were manufacturing this, gloves, masks, and helmets. And the distribution company is a sales company. They buy and sell. They are just traders. And now these two companies got merged. Now the first question, so this is the buying company. This is the selling company. So the first question asked by the board of directors, what is the synergy? Can you quantify the synergy? That's the question of the board. How does synergy comes in an amalgamation? Let us look at this. Now this kind of integration, this kind of merger, you are a trading company from whom you are purchasing, manufacturing. So you go and buy that company. Now this is technically called as what? Vertical integration or horizontal integration? Any guess? This merger, when you go up in the ladder and then buy another company which is supplying to you, they go up in the ladder and they buy another company which is supplying them raw materials, and they go up in the ladder, buy another company which is supplying their source products. Purchase paninde pona, this kind of integration is called as a vertical integration. You understand? Horizontal integration means I am a trading company. I buy another trading company which is in Mumbai. I buy another trading company which is in Kolkata. I buy another trading company which is in Rudrapur. If I start doing this, now this is called as horizontal integration. It is something like saying AGS classes, veranda classes are there. So they go and buy another person who is taking classes. They go and buy another person who is taking classes. It's just a horizontal integration. Just you buy, you do the same business again and again. When you do the horizontal integration, there is a huge possibility of synergy. Vertical integration, synergy romba kammi. It's very less, because even after amalgamation, all these activities must happen. Someone has to manufacture. You cannot get rid of one activity. In horizontal integration, assume for a minute, there are 4 sales managers. Now after integration, you can have only one. There are 4 CEOs. After integration, you can have only one. So what will happen? Those 3 CEOs cost will go out. So that will add to more than proportionate profit. Now vertical integration, there is a factory head. That factory head is required even after integration. There is a CEO. There is a CEO required even after integration. So vertical integration, the scope of synergy is very less. More than proportionate profits you cannot make. So this is the basics of synergy. Now the synergy extra 100 crores that we have made, it is because of which company? Is it because of buying company or is it because of selling company? That's the question, right? If you attribute everything to the buying company, then buying company valuation will go up. So let's look at this case once again. There is a buying company, A Limited, whose valuation is 500 crores. There is a selling company, B Limited, whose value is 300 crores. So total value is supposed to be how much? 800 crores. But actually, what is their expected valuation? 900 crores. What is the synergy impact here? Because they worked together, they are going to work together. The synergy impact is 100 crores. Puriyarda?
Yes, sir.
Synergy is because of whom? Because of A Limited or B Limited?
A Limited.
A Limited is the buying company. Assuming for a minute that I manufacture printer, you manufacture cartridge. So when we merge, the idea is you are already selling to 100 customers. Apart from this, even for my 100 customers, you will be selling your cartridge. Printer, I am already selling to my 200 customers. Over and above this, wherever you are selling cartridge, I will knock those doors and I will sell my printer also. Cross selling is possible. So it is because of whom there is a big fight that will happen between these two companies. A Limited will say it is only because of me. My product is stronger, so you can tag along with me. Wherever I'm going and selling the printer, you can sell your cartridge also along with me. That is why it results in 100 crore. So 100 crore primarily it is because of me. Then A Limited will start arguing. So what they will say, you have to add this to me, to my value, 600 crores. When A Limited value is increasing, A Limited value is increasing, buying company value is increasing, what do you think? The number of shares offered by A Limited will be more or lesser based on my value and your value. A Limited value, assume for a minute it is 75 rupees per share. B Limited value is 75 rupees per share. We thought initially 1:1 is the swap ratio. This is what we thought based on 500-300 crore valuation. If now, since I increase the value of A Limited by 100 crores, what is the valuation of A Limited will become? 75 rupees per share, it will go up or it will come down? The notional value. If I add 100 crores to their total valuation of A Limited, what do you think the value per share will happen? Will it increase or will it reduce?
Increase.
Increase. Since it is increasing, the swap ratio will be 1:1, or A Limited will give you less than 1 share for B Limited's 1 share.
Less than 1 share.
So A Limited will start reducing their shares, correct? They will not give so many shares. So when synergy is fully attributed to buying company, buying company valuation will go up, correct?
Yes.
Buying company value per share will go up, correct? Because of this swap ratio will reduce, correct? Entire 100 crores, even if you give it to A Limited, you will get a swap ratio. Now that swap ratio will reduce, commonly referred to as a minimum swap ratio. Are you following this? So vice versa, B Limited says, no, this 100 crore is only because of me. Because my product has got that strength, you can sell now cartridge also along with printers. So my valuation should be construed as 400 crores and more. Now what will happen? Whose valuation will increase?
Selling companies.
Selling company. The 75 will increase. Appo A Limited is bound to give more than 1 share or less than 1 share?
More than 1 share.
When they give more than 1 share, what will happen? If synergy is fully attributable, synergy is fully given to selling company, what will happen? Selling company valuation will go up. Selling company value per share will go up. So as a result, buying company has to give more shares, correct? So that's called as a maximum swap ratio. So more than this maximum swap ratio, no one will give the shares. Below this minimum swap ratio, no one will accept the swap. Can you understand the range between maximum and minimum swap? In the range is called as, between maximum and minimum swap is called as negotiable range. So they say, okay, let's take 50 crores in my account, 50 crores in your account. 50 crores in my account, 50 crores in your account. So the value is going to be 550 crores and the value of this company is going to be 350 crores. Again, they will be negotiating. So the swap ratio, so this value will undergo a change. Swap ratio will be 1.2:1. Some number they will conclude. Now, first, do we understand the concept of synergy here?
Yes, sir.
Do we understand to whom does it belongs? Either it can be buying company or it can be selling company, or in some ratio it has to be split, correct?
Yes, sir.
And then based on that, you find out the revised value and determine the swap ratio, which will end up in minimum swap or a maximum swap. Are we clear up to this? Then we'll go on to this question. Question 3. ABC is intending to acquire XYZ Limited by the way of merger, and the following information is available in respect of these companies: ABC, XYZ. Total earnings வந்து 1200 lakhs, 400 lakhs. Number of shares outstanding 400 lakhs, 200 lakhs. P ratio is 8:7. சரி. Determine the maximum exchange ratio acceptable to the shareholders of ABC Limited if the P ratio of the combined firm is expected to be 8. I am stopping the question here. Question actually continues, but I am stopping it here. So what is expected to be found out? What we need to find out? Right? What do we need to find out?
Exchange ratio, sir.
What exchange ratio?
Maximum exchange ratio.
Maximum exchange ratio na maximum swap ratio, correct?
Yes, sir.
Appo synergy should be fully attributable to whom? Buying company or selling company?
Selling company, sir.
Selling company. Selling company.
First we need to find out the synergy. Synergy irukkan first check பண்ணனும்ல. இப்போ I need to find out the value of ABC Limited. I need to find out the value of XYZ Limited. And then I need to find out the value of combined limited. And then see whether there is any gap. Can you follow what I'm saying? Remember the example that we gave. One company has got value 500 crore. Another company got a value 300 crore. Total 800 crore. But actually combined entity has got a value of 900 crore. 100 crore is synergy in some. Clear?
Yes, sir.
That we need to do that exercise. Tell me what is the value of ABC Limited? ABC value என்னப்பா? How do you find out value of ABC Limited? You have the P ratio of ABC, no?
Yes, sir. Market price per share we can find out, sir.
Market price we can find out. What is the earnings per share here? EPS is 1200 divided by 400, correct?
Yes, sir.
3, correct? 3. So P ratio 8 is equivalent to MPS by EPS, which is 3. Appo MPS is equivalent to 8 times 3, which is 24, correct?
Yes, sir.
This is the market price per share. Into how many shares are there? 400 lakh shares are there. 24 times 400 lakhs is going to be the total market value of ABC Limited, correct?
Yes, sir.
Or otherwise you can say earnings into P ratio, 1200 into 8, direct adichu vitrலாம். Both are correct.
Okay, sir.
Same way you'll have to do it for XYZ Limited, right? Let's do that. Let's say valuation of ABC Limited. எவ்வளவு இருக்குன்னு பார்ப்போம். Earnings 1200 lakhs. P ratio 8 times இல்லையா? So total valuation, market valuation 1200 into 8 எவ்வளோ?
9,600.
9,600 lakhs. இப்போ இதே மாதிரி let's say valuation of DEF Limited. XYZ. சொல்லுங்க. 400 lakhs. அப்புறம் 7. Then this is how much?
2,800.
Lakhs. Correct?
Yes, sir.
Now total value of both the companies எவ்வளவு வருது? 9,600, correct? Plus 2,800. This is supposed to be the valuation, isn't it? Which is?
12,400.
Okay. Let us do the theoretical valuation of combined entity. Combined entity, what is the earnings of the combined entity? 1,200 lakhs plus 400 lakhs, correct?
Yes, sir.
What are the 1,600 lakhs? And what is the P ratio of the combined entity? I think that is separately given in the question. P ratio, now you cannot take an average of 8 and 7. You'll have to find out. If the P ratio of the combined entity,
8.
எட்டு எடுத்துட்டேன்னா வாட் இஸ் த what மார்க்கெட் வேல்யூவேஷன் என்ன வருது 1600 into 8 எவ்வளவு வருதுங்க
12,800.
clear இப்போ what is the synergy here
400.
12,800 minus 12,400 this minus this correct இது வரைக்கும் are we clear up to step 1 but now comes the question to whom it will be offered the 400 lakhs will it form part of the buying company or will it form part of the selling company clear இப்போ என்ன கேட்டிருக்கான் determine the maximum exchange ratio na maximum shares that can be given to the selling company shareholders அப்ப how much it can be given assuming that every synergy fully is attributable to which company selling company so we say maximum swap ratio assumed that the entire synergy is to selling company correct தானே right so the total valuation of the selling company is 2800 lakhs now I will say no it is not 2800 lakhs their value is 2800 plus 400 lakhs புரியுதா so we say value of ABC Limited per share that is I think already we know that 8 times 3 24 சொன்னோம் இல்லையா MPS by EPS value of XYZ Limited is equivalent to what is the value there 2800 lakhs market valuation plus 400 correct this is the total value number of shares எவ்வளவு இருந்தது 200 lakh shares so value per share எவ்வளவு
16.
are we clear
Yes, sir.
இப்போ my share is 24 my share worth is 24 your share worth is only 16 so how will I determine the swap ratio so number of shares that will be given by ABC Limited equivalent to 16 by 24 correct எவ்வளவு கொடுக்கணும்
0.6.
0.67 shares of ABC Limited for one share of XYZ Limited. So swap ratios 0.67 is to 1. Correct?
Yes, sir.
Are we clear with this calculation?
Yes, sir. Yes.
இதை அப்படியே ரிப்பீட் பண்ணணும் மினிமம் ஸ்வாப் இதுக்கு மேல for example buying company can give maximum 0.67 shares for every one share for your company can you ask me to give more than that can you ask me to give 0.7 shares 0.8 shares 1:1 la முடியாது ஏன்னா even the full synergy is attributed to you you are worth only 0.67 of mine அவ்வளவுதானே கொடுக்க முடியும் that is why we call it as a maximum swap ratio by assigning the full synergy to the selling company clear
Yes.
determine the maximum exchange ratio determine the minimum exchange ratio acceptable to XYZ Limited if the PE of the combined firm is expected to be 10 vice versa I request you to redo this exercise assuming that the PE ratio of the combined firm is 10 அப்போ இங்க போணும் you have to again recalculate theoretical valuation will be 1600 into 10 16000 வந்ததுன்னா 12400 minus 16000 3600 is going to be the synergy அதுல என்ன சொல்றான் minimum exchange ratio na entire synergy is attributable to whom
Buying company.
that is when their valuation will go up so they will issue less number of shares So attribute it entirely to the buying company. Selling company valuation, keep it the same. Selling company valuation, you have earnings. You have how many shares you have in selling company? 200 lakh shares. 400 divided by 200. EPS is 2. 7 into 2, 14. 14 is the MPS of XYZ Limited. Keep it constant. இப்போ ஏபிசிக்கு வரும் ஏபிசிக்கு வந்துட்டு you need to increase the value by extent of synergy. You need to redo the calculation and then based on that you need to determine the swap ratio. Are we clear? அதான் பண்ணிருக்காங்க. You see this, no? 0.6666 is to 1.
Yes, sir.
I don't know how they have calculated. I don't follow this method. The solution given in the RTP, you will get that. But we don't follow this method. We logically derive to whom it has to go and then based on which we'll figure out. Chariya? Are we clear about this maximum minimum thing?
Yes,
Yes.
sir.
Very highly tested in your exams. This is something simple. I'll explain it orally. EVA and economic value added. Economic value added, what is the formula? Economic value added here. What is the formula for economic value added? What is economic value added first? How do you define economic value added? Anyone? Give me a minute. I'll take you directly to an interesting. There was a good article about EVA. Can you see my screen? The formula. With that formula, can you please explain what is economic value added? What is your understanding on this? Invested capital, how much money you invested into weighted average cost of capital. That is on one side. NOPAT is on another side. NOPAT stands for net operating profit after tax. NOPAT is EBIT into 1 minus taxation. If you see the balance sheet, what you have invested is your share capital. What you have invested is your reserves and surplus. What you have invested is your long-term borrowing. Correct? Assuming that you invested capital 100, reserves 100, long-term borrowings 100. What is the rate of this? The rate of share capital, assume it's 12%, cost of equity. And cost of debt is, let's say, 9%. So weighted average cost of capital is, let's say, 10.5%. In the total investment, 250K. For this 250, how much money you have to repay them? 10.5%, correct? So how much money you have to pay them? How much money I have to pay is 26.25 crores per annum. What I am actually generating is my profit. Profit, can you please tell me, is it before interest or after interest?
After interest.
After interest. Be careful. In the WACC, are you considering interest or not?
Considering.
What profit you have made to pay the equity and debt holders? That profit means before interest or after interest? Can you understand my statement? What profit you have made to pay the equity and debt holder? That profit is pre-interest or post-interest?
Post-interest.
Pre. Be careful. It's pre. See, I start with my sales. Less purchases. Less expenses. Less depreciation. EBITDA, then EBIT on it. And then less interest. Then PBT. Less tax. PAT. If I am talking about PAT or if I'm talking about PBT,
Yes.
I'm talking about anything which is payable to the equity holders
Acha, EBIT.
at this
Yes.
level. Puriyada?
Yes.
So that's why we say it is no PAT is EBIT into 1 minus taxation, tax adjusted.
That means interest has to be.
Yeah. Because in many companies, there is no distinction between capital and borrowing. It's the owner's funds. However they want to place, they will place it. Either they will place it as capital or they will place it. It's just name change. That's it. But both will form part of long-term funds invested. That's the reason they want to see whether the business is making money or not. Whether the business is making money or not in its own, EBIT is the primary criteria, not the profit. EBIT irundhadana business is sound. PAT is there, not there. It's because of your debt rates. It's your financing, not because of your operations. Can you understand the difference here? So you take EBIT into 1 minus, again, when I say 1 minus taxation, I'm removing the full tax on EBIT. That's the reason why in long-term borrowing 9% for only. This 9% should be adjusted for 1 minus tax. AE always does not have a tax, so you don't care about it. So the debt here always is adjusted for tax. So the simple formula in one company where I work for, they have given EVA as a variable pay measure for the unit heads. CEO, the company level unit heads, their target is EVA. They have to achieve an EVA. What does mean by EVA? In simpler terms, to whom are you need to pay? You need to pay the shareholders. You need to pay the debenture holders. You need to pay the banks. You need to pay the debt. And even after paying everyone, if company has some money with it, that is the value added by the company, correct? If you pay everyone and then you are left with nothing, it means there is no value addition over and above what you have paid for these people. So traditional thinking is, if you pay long-term borrowings, after that, whatever stays back is the profit for the entity. The modern thinking is, listen, you have to pay the long-term borrowing and you have to pay the equity shareholder this much. It's a commitment. It's not like risk and all. There is no concept of risk. You have to pay this much. Even after paying them this 12%, if there is anything staying back, now that's what is called as economic value added by the entity. Are we clear on this idea? Hello?
Yes.
Coming back to this, question. STR Limited current financial year income statement reported net income after tax 50 crores. Net income after tax. Okay. And then following is the capital structure of STR Limited. Debt 80 crores, equity 250 crores, total capital 330 crores. Debt is at 11%. Following data is given. Asset beta 1.11, risk-free rate 8.5%, average market risk premium. You see here, no? Market risk premium is given. What is market risk premium? That refers to
RM minus RF.
RM minus RF. That is 9%, which is given. Corporate tax rate is 30%. Estimate economic value added in lakhs. So economic value, what is the formula for EVA? EVA is equivalent to what minus what into what?
No PAT minus.
No PAT minus invested capital into WACC, correct? Where no PAT is equivalent to EBIT into 1 minus taxation, correct?
Yes, sir.
First you write the formula, then you find each one of these numbers, your answer is done. No PAT minus invested capital. Invested capital is how much that is given, no? Invested capital is 330 crores.
30 crores.
Into WACC you need to find out, correct? Weighted average cost of capital. Weighted average cost of capital, how much you will find? 80 debt, 250 equity. So you say WACC calculation, WACC calculation. 80 debt, 250 equity. In the costing, and then you need to do the weighted average, correct? Divided by 330, you get this. And you have your cost of debt. 80, what is the cost of debt? What is cost of debt here?
11%.
Wrong.
Percent minus tax.
11% minus tax.
Minus.
We say EBIT into 1 minus tax. Debt has to be debt into the cost of debt is cost of debt into 1 minus tax. 11 into 0.7. Correct? So cost of equity we need to find out. Cost of equity, how do you find out? Based on beta. Correct?
Yes, sir.
So what is RF?
8.2.
8.5 RF plus beta is how much?
1.1.
Angadan catch. Beta given is not the beta of equity. Beta given is beta of what?
That's
Assets. So upper we need to move on to the next topic. Beta. Look at this. They have an equity of 250. Correct? They have a debt of 80.
80.
So they have total assets of
330.
Assets. Normally, as a thumb rule, asset beta is equivalent to liability beta. Correct? So asset beta is equivalent to 1.11. Liability beta. So what is beta? Beta basically is the risk associated, correct? Volatility. Why equity share has got a beta? Because why equity share has got a risk? Equity share is risky because what here? Because you don't get your dividend frequently, correct? That is the risk associated. Because the share price is fluctuating, correct? The dividend you don't get yearly because you don't get profits yearly, correct? You don't get profits yearly because you don't make sales the same way, correct?
Okay.
You don't do the sales the same way because your assets are not generating the same kind of revenue, correct? If I simply say I'm starting a company, I take a capital of 250, I'm investing in government bonds. Now tell me, in this company, will you get stable income or not? Will you get stable dividend or not from this company? And in this company, will you have any risk or not? You will not have any risk because essentially the assets of the companies are very stable, correct?
Is around me? Yes.
Sorry, ma, you are saying something? Aparna.
No, sir.
Yeah. So the point is, equity shareholders are getting risk only because of the fact that their underlying assets are risky. That's why we say asset beta is equivalent to liability beta. 1.11, 1.11. Debts carry a beta of 0. Equity beta, we need to find out as balancing figure. Let's assume this is X. 250 into X plus 80 into 0 divided by 250 plus 80 should be equivalent to 1.11 weighted average. For me, we need to calculate the beta of equity. And the beta of equity, we need to substitute it in this formula. RF plus beta times RM minus RF. Put on, you get the CAPM return, or sorry, cost of equity of cost of equity rather. So with this cost of equity, we need to substitute in this formula, WACC calculation. And then you get the weighted average cost of capital of this company. Invested capital 330, WACC, that percentage, no PAT you have to calculate and figure out. You get the EVA of this company. Can you get the basic idea of this problem?
sir.
There are two calculation involved in this entire problem. One is EVA calculation, another one is beta calculation is equally important. These two things must be individually addressed. Solution is there. Of course, for some reasons, the solution EVA calculation is not there. Kadasiya, and the calculation is not there. I want you to check the RTP. It's an RTP question. So very good question. Nice question. In the RTP, you should be there. Just check that.